Hey, glad to be with you on this historic day of cheating. And let me be really clear, that's what's happening right now. I know there will be a lot of speculation as to who the nominee is going to be. Of course, former Vice President Biden is out. We don't know exactly who's in, but we have a guess. This is about cheating. And I want to be clear here today. The left has always cheated. We'll give you a documented history on that and how they plan to cheat going forward. This is far bigger than just Biden or Kamala Harris or insert whichever pissant here. But, of course, we've always tried to honor those who we've seen as unworthy adversaries in the past with something you've become accustomed to in this program, time to close. And in this case, of course, with his storied career as a senator and a former vice president, we felt that former Vice President Joe Biden. Join Mug Club today for $89 annually or try it mugless for $9 a month. You can sign up at ladderwithcredit.com/mugclub for the entire catalog, including Nick DiPaolo, Brian Callen, the Hodge Twins, Mr. Guns and Gear, and of course, Alex Jones, along with 100% more of this show. Glad to be with you. I already said that.
Double glad.
Strong open.
I apologize. So let's just go to the rundown really quickly in case you've been living under a rock. And you could be. I apologize to people who, in fact, are rock dwellers. Former Vice President Biden is out. What does that mean? Everyone out there wants to speculate now and tell you that they have an inside scoop as to who's going to be the nominee. They don't. We can make some inferences. Here's where we don't need to make inferences. This is cheating. Let's just be really clear. They'll talk about the convention. They'll talk about superdelegates. We'll get into that. They'll talk about the finances, where the funding kind of has to follow Kamala Harris. Yeah, okay, all of that. This is cheating. What we are experiencing, imagine running a marathon and you're winning and the guy coming in second, distant second, has someone replace them in the last mile. That's what's happening right now. I knew this was, we thought this was going to happen. We knew that former Vice President Biden was unfit. I still thought he would likely be the nominee until the debates. And I said, okay, this is obviously pretty clear. It's going to change.
Yeah.
But I take no joy in seeing the most undemocratic subversion of our political system that one can imagine. This is about saving democracy, according to the left, by cheating and installing somebody who has received no votes. The Democrat Party is undemocratic. Changed my mind. So, where do you think Joe Biden is right now? Don't say dead. Or don't wish dead, to be clear. None of us here do. I hope he's okay.
No.
I hope he's recovering from COVID, which would be just this. It would be exactly the equivalent of Donald Trump surviving a bullet. I don't know if you heard Joy Reid say so.
That's what I heard.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Triumphant.
Yeah.
Over the cold.
Moving over 3,000 feet per second with a muscle force that can create a hydrostatic wound or a cough. So if at some point today, while you're watching, and this very likely could happen, you're watching on YouTube and you see this, head on over to Rumble. You can watch us right now, at least, on X. It's a live show, weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern. So tune in. All right, we're going to get into all of this and more, the history of cheating from the left and how they're going to cheat going forward. About this, I have no doubt. All references available at ladderwithcredit.com. How are you? Captain Morgan, you're back from Milwaukee.
I am good. I'm so glad I was scheduled to fly to Chicago. Gosh, half our team was still stuck there as of yesterday.
Yes.
Sorry. Chicago sucks. Just get an apartment until the DNC. We'll be back.
Well, it doesn't help that we're drunk. And in third chair, when you hear this, you know him, you love him. And if you love him, go see him Sunday, July 28th at the Dallas Comedy Club. You can see all of his dates at jfirestein.com. Mr. Josh Firestein, how are you?
I'm good. I'm not going to be there, though. I've dropped out at the last minute. Someone else is going to be replacing me.
What?
It'll be my wife. She's never done stand-up. But yeah, it's still worth the ticket.
Okay, all right.
Are you going to be there or not? I'm confused.
I am going to be there. I'm opening for my friend Gabriel Rutledge.
That's a terrible plug.
I know he's going to be there. I had to buy his watermelons.
Yes.
He already has a mallet.
Yeah.
By the way, hey, no.
What?
How are you? Nobody asked. I forgot to ask.
You
How are
know. So, former Vice President Biden.
I don't know. Please.
No, I asked.
Melon Man.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
All right.
It is what it is.
I love
At the end of the day.
Yeah, wow.
You're just saying things now.
So, let's get to this really quickly because I don't like being in the business of just speculating with information that's available. And I just don't think that people add a lot of value when they go, oh, we think this is going to happen. And I'm hearing someone say this. Let's stick to what we know right now. And what we know is that the left is terribly afraid of you. And I mean that. Right now, if the election were to be held today, Donald Trump wins in a landslide. It's not even close. I've been saying that. You have selected. Now, there is a small portion of the country, shouldn't say a small portion, 30% of the country, they are Democrats, vote blue no matter what. That's how you end up with Joe Biden. 14 plus million people voted for Joe Biden in a primary at one point. Keep in mind, Kamala Harris was in that primary at one point. And now that's been stripped away. They are so afraid of you and your proxy, Donald Trump, that they are effectively removing somebody who has received the votes from their party. There is nothing democratic about this. There is nothing that resembles our constitutional. I take no joy in that. I really don't. Yeah. It's scary when you think of it. Think of that for a second. Think of how little they care about what you, the people they are supposed to represent. Think of how little they think of you, your needs, what you want for this country. And they know because poll after poll shows wrong direction, that you believe the economy is in shambles. They just say you're dumb. That you believe, of course, that Donald Trump would do a better job as it relates to the economy, that immigration is a big issue and they do nothing. We're at a point in this country where the veil is off. The Democratic Party does not care about you. They care, and the admission, right? For just to let me get to the direct quote and kind of let's see what this quote actually means. So Sunday, former Vice President Biden announced he would be dropping out, but here's what he said: "It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president."
A former vice president, he screwed up.
And it has been my intention to seek re-election. And while it is my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down. Hold. It is in the best interest of my party and the country. Let's hold the country part. He's saying, I have done such a bad job. There is no chance of me winning. That the only chance the Democrat Party has of winning is to trick and cheat the American people. You're the guy they picked. You've done your job. This is the referendum on your job. You suck. This is saying, hey, I care so little about the country and what the American people want. In knowing that they won't pick me again, we're going to pull a switcheroo. What's in the best interest of my party is for me, the elected member of this party, to no longer be its ambassador. They can't stand you. This has nothing to do with the best interest of the country.
Right.
The people in the party voted for him. He is so bad that the country at large said, well, we're definitely not going to vote for you. How do we ensure? All they care, there is no platform. Do you guys see this now? There is no platform from the Democratic Party. It's just Trump bad. Trump bad, people who vote Trump bad.
Yeah.
So we need to cheat the system. The best interest of the country is to install someone who has not been vetted or elected as a Democratic representative of anyone in this country. The best interest of the party is the Democrat Party diametrically opposed to the best interest of the country. I want to be clear about that.
And by the way, let me just be clear. By him saying that, while it's been my intention to run for re-election, he hasn't changed his mind. He's been forced out. That's why it's a coup.
Right.
That's why it's cheating. It's power bosses coming in and saying, hey, you are not the guy anymore. Right, Joe? Right, Joe? It's not him saying, hey, you know what? After thinking about it for a little while, I've changed my mind.
I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. Probably won't. Now.
He's going to be mad when he finds out, I'll tell you that.
Yes, exactly.
He's going to have
That's
a
a
fit.
Ambien.
Wake up. What in holy hell? So let's go through a few key lies here and how they've cheated to you. Here's a key lie that you've been experiencing in real time. First one, that Biden was going to be staying in. And this is important to track this because it also helps you understand how they have cheated repeatedly, and they will continue to cheat you. Cheating isn't just about voting machines. Cheating isn't just about ballot harvesting. It's lying about, for example, let's say the Hunter Biden laptop story. It's lying about Hillary Clinton. It's lying about Barack Obama's record. It's lying about former Vice President Biden being fit. It's lying about him staying in so that you can wait until the very last minute, switch the game while manipulating the rules so that the American people don't have a say. Here's a big lie, that Biden was staying in. Saturday night, less than 24 hours, I repeat, less than 24 hours before dropping out, former Vice President Biden, or his team of diversity hires on his social, posted this: "It's the most important election of our lifetimes. I will win it." So less than 24 hours before, he's staying in. Do you honestly believe that no conversations were taking place at that point? That's a lie. Someone was lying to you. Don't know if it was the person who clicked send or grabbed Biden's paws and said, send, post, whoever. But someone was lying. You think that this decision was made in 20 hours? Absolutely not. They've been insisting for months in front of the cameras that he would be the nominee. Now, why? Why would they do this? To throw you off the scent. They didn't want you to understand what was taking place. They wanted to keep you in the dark because at the same time, when they were saying, this guy's going to be the nominee, we all know that behind the scenes they were saying, this guy can't be the nominee. Now, why? Not because they care about you, the country, but because they care about their party maintaining control over the country. That's what this is about. They have been saying for months, this is the key lie number one, Biden would be the nominee. Don't let the memory hold it.
Biden, as I've said repeatedly, is our nominee.
He is in this race. The matter is closed.
Our nominee is Joe Biden.
Joe Biden is our nominee.
Joe Biden is our nominee.
Joe Biden is our nominee.
President Biden has made his decision. He is the Democratic nominee.
Biden is the Democratic nominee. Period.
Absolutely, the president's in this race. You've heard him say that time and time again.
Our nominee is Joe Biden.
Joe Biden is our nominee.
Joe Biden is our nominee.
Joe Biden is going to be the nominee unless otherwise stated.
Joe Biden is our leader.
Joe Biden is more committed than ever to beat Donald Trump.
He's our nominee. And the most important thing is we have to win in 2024.
He will be the Democratic nominee, and we will beat Donald Trump in November.
Ooh, that didn't age well, like in 4 days.
None of them. It sounded like a montage of kids talking about how their dad's going to be back from buying cigarettes soon.
No,
no, he's coming back. He'll be right back, right in time for the birthday.
Hey, the local place ran out of cools. He had to go down the street.
It's your worst nightmare.
It's your worst nightmare. Your dad went to get some menthols.
I love specifically one that had the 4-box window. That was from Sunday morning.
Yes.
Literally like 5 hours before he dropped out.
Yeah. Yeah. Within that 5 hours, they were still talking and went, oh, shit. So here's the thing. You're not judged, and this is how you know it's a lie. We talked about this with COVID. It's not that Anthony Fauci parroted information, the only science available. No. What information was available at that same period of time that you were burying? Because many people, including people in this room, said he is not going to be the nominee.
This guy, I'm going to change my Deadpool prediction.
You don't think he makes it?
Jesus, I don't know.
Look at the back of his neck.
I know.
Is that hair plugs?
No, it looked like, testicles.
30 days from now, I don't think Joe Biden's going to be the nominee.
That sweater's
Joe Biden
awful.
will not be the Democratic Party nominee.
Despite his announcement, President Biden won't be his party's nominee next year. Here's why.
End this farce that Joe Biden is going to be your nominee. We know he's not even the president of the United States. He's a puppet for the managerial class. So have the guts to step up and be honest about who you're actually going to put up.
Do you still maintain, Alex Jones, that Biden will not be the nominee this election?
I 100% agree with you and the rest of your great pundits there.
Does anybody want to bet me there'll be a new nominee?
It's no good.
I know.
2 weeks.
So
That's pretty good.
Think about 3 weeks, but yeah.
let's just think about the term experts going forward.
Yeah.
Experts. COVID's going to kill 2.5 million people within the first however many weeks. Experts. There are no side effects of the mRNA. Experts. The most free and fair election of all time. Experts. He absolutely is going to be the nominee. And anyone who says otherwise is a conspiracy theorist. Well, hey, at a certain point, when do you start lining up against the experts, the same experts who are going to cheat the system? Speaking of experts, it seems like the most likely nominee is expert in whoredom, Kamala Harris, which is why we will have...
I love Venn diagrams.
Her...
One of her shoes fell off. Oh, no.
Well, you know what?
Wait, hold on.
He put her back into it.
I heard that from Mika, from Morning Joe, that mispronouncing Kamala is hate speech now.
Really?
Yes, it's hatred, and we should stop doing it. It's not Kamala, even though Democrats have said that too. It's Kamala.
What do we call her? Black Starbucks?
Yes.
The way the way she looks like Black Starbucks.
Kamala's a whore.
She's a whore.
Now, I mean that. I know what you're saying. Hey. That's irresponsible. That's childish.
It's true.
What do you mean by whore? I mean she had sex with people for financial gain.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. No.
Wonderful example to women. Hey, you're first, if she ever would, and of course, very unlikely, become the first female president. So there you go, sweetheart. If you want to grow up and be like that, all you have to do is sleep with horrifying people.
Until you're 60.
Yes. Here's another key lie. Right here. Another key lie that you were told. Again, let's just not allow this to be memory hold, because the media is going to move on right now, and they're going to try and say circumstances changed. How were all of the circumstances called precisely by non-experts, and you knew nothing about it? How did the media wants you to believe that they didn't know former Vice President Biden was mentally unfit? When 70+% of Americans for years believed that he was in cognitive decline. So either the media is useless or they're lying. They're either functionally retarded or they're lying. But another lie that they made forever, you guessed it, Biden's as fit as a fiddle. He's fiddling. He's fit on the roof.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth.
Oh, really?
He's as sharp as ever.
I do think
Jack
so.
Prickelson.
He is still grasping.
I wonder why anybody is questioning Joe Biden's mental acuity.
He's cogent.
I'm the most qualified person in this country to be president of the United States and finish the job I started.
But I undersold him when I said he was cogent.
We see Joe Biden up close. We know how attuned he is to the issues.
I can tell you he was sharper than anyone I've spoken to.
I haven't heard anybody speak so much and so
Looks like he just discovered electricity.
Policy. He knows his stuff.
He's fine.
The president is absolutely sharp, fit on top of his game. He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years.
He's far beyond cogent.
Watch this.
He is on the ball.
Let's call it what it is. This is ageism.
There's nobody could be better.
I know all this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong.
But he is, again, knowledgeable, wise.
He's at the top of his game.
He is just fine.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
This is a very sharp president.
This guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game.
President Biden is absolutely fit.
What I saw in that debate is not reflective of the man and the leader and the commander-in-chief.
Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election.
Issues more around ageism and ableism.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
Some people ask whether you are fit for the job. And when you hear that, I wonder what you think.
Watch me.
There he goes.
I'm watching.
I think I see like he's Jack LaLanne with a juicer.
Watch me.
Watch me, and then we see Kamala's legs like that. That's great.
It is. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I like to watch.
I have to hear that from now until Election Day. Ugh.
Unburdened by the entire Raiders offensive line.
The Raiders.
That's why they moved to Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
Had to get away from that stank.
Exactly. They couldn't afford the antibiotic budget. Now, they were saying that this was ableism, ageism, and we'll get to their attacks on you, of course, if you don't support Kamala Harris, who is likely the nominee, but it's not a guarantee. I don't care. they're now saying that Donald Trump is the oldest candidate ever. Have you seen that from pundits? Donald Trump is the oldest candidate ever. Do you really think he can serve out his term? Which tells you they've tried everything. And so now what's one more pile of excrement? So here's the thing. They were saying that what information was available to you throughout the entirety of not only former Vice President Biden's tenure, but even running for president. Were there plenty of people, including experts, with politically dissenting opinions, saying that he was unfit? Well, the good news is we've compiled some evidence.
There's been a lot of questions about your schedule and that it's been a little lighter than some of the other candidates.
Look at him and look at me and answer the question.
Huh?
You answer the question.
Have you been tested for some degree of cognitive decline?
I've been tested and I'm constantly tested. And I can hardly wait to compare my cognitive capability to the cognitive capability of the man I'm running against.
Ronnie Jackson, the former White House physician turned GOP congressional candidate, suggested on Tuesday that Democratic nominee Joe Biden is mentally unfit for office, citing what he called cognitive decline.
Specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test?
Yes.
Come on, man.
The evidence and the president himself put his memory squarely at issue. Quote, I just found all the classified stuff downstairs, end quote. He told us that he didn't remember saying that to his ghostwriter. My assessment in the report about the relevance of the president's memory was necessary and accurate and fair.
You have Joe Biden, who cannot give an interview, even when it has been filmed 48 hours beforehand, edited, chopped down. He can't present himself as even resembling articulate. It's unfortunate we didn't have enough experts on our side.
We knew the entire time.
Yeah. And hey, you know who else you may as well call Nostradamus? President Trump even cut an ad about Biden's mental decline. Oh, sorry. Back in 2020.
He went, he became president. I didn't go, and I'm still vice president. And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are. So be successful. I sincerely hope some of you become millionaires and billionaires. I mean that. But engage. There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it
That was in 2020. For people who are new to politics, and I know that there are many of you right now who are new viewers, we appreciate it. You can hit the like button or hit the rumble button wherever you are watching. In 2020, people were talking about how Joe Biden was clearly campaigning. It was a meme, campaigning from his basement. He wasn't holding rallies, using COVID as an excuse because he was afraid of the press because of his cognitive decline. It was a central argument to people who were opposing Biden's run back then. So for experts to tell you for his entire tenure that there has never been an issue of, and now all of a sudden it had just taken place.
Right.
Again, I ask you, what's the more believable scenario? They were hiding this when everyone else knew it, including a huge portion of their own voting base. Or they just didn't know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like the entire media found out at the debate that Joe Biden had a problem. Right. Do you remember that? Like everybody leading up to the debate was like, oh, Joe, especially, guys all over the internet were saying he's going to do well. He's going to come out there and he's going to mop the floor with Donald Trump. And then he does it. And the entire media, it's like they were the last 5 people on the planet to figure out Joe was in trouble.
That's how they made it seem. They had Van Jones crying and everything. It was.
They couldn't believe it.
And the reason that I'm trying to weave this tapestry together for you here is because it's really easy to forget there are different lines of defense and lines of attack. Joe Biden obviously won he won the vote, the primary, right? He wasn't installed. There's no such thing as superdelegates. Joe Biden is the people's choice. Joe Biden is the most fit president that we have seen in a long time. He's mentally fit. Joe Biden is going to remain the nominee. Joe Biden's economy is great. The border is great. They had to continue with these until it was completely indefensible. So what are they going to be doing next? I can tell you exactly what they're going to be doing next, and I'll provide the references so that you don't have to lean on some kind of speculation or predictions. We have rules for their party, which they won't respect, but we know exactly what is going to take place. The lies are going to continue, and the target is you. If the vote happened today, you select the president, Donald Trump. Not even close. They can't let that happen. They couldn't let it happen then, in 2020. They can't let it happen now. It's just that at this point, even their Manchurian candidate effectively did the job so poorly, they can't even sell you that he's capable. I also want you to keep this in mind. This is why you have to go out and vote. Don't become complacent. They could convince you for a certain portion of time. They could keep the lie alive that he was fit. Keep the lie alive that he would be the nominee. At a certain point, the gap between their lies and the truth becomes insurmountable. It's the same thing with cheating on the election. There are a lot of ways that they can cheat. This is one of them. Mail-in voting. That's another one. Forcing the media to bury stories that are harmful. That's another one. Before we even get to what happens on election day.
Yeah.
But if the gap is so wide, they're cheating, their lies, the truth is insurmountable. So please, you have to make it an absolute washout on election day. Don't think that there's no way that this election can be won because of how they cheat. At a certain point, even they have to kind of cut their losses, say, all right, we have to maybe regroup and try again next time. And by the way, in former Vice President Biden's defense, it's a wordful. Mm-hmm. I sound like him.
Mouthful?
Everyone fibs a little in regards to their personal fitness.
Yeah, I fib from time to time. All right. Blood type. B negative. A positive. A plus attitude, baby. Height. Yeah. 6'2" and 3/4. See, weight. Light. Sex. All the time. Yeah. How often do you exercise? Let's see, 3 days every day. Yeah, that'll work.
Mr. Fireside?
Yeah. Okay, 1 second. Oh, God.
You know, we all...
Come on.
It's like when they ask you the weekly drinks.
Yeah, I don't want him to tell me to get a therapist or whatever.
No.
Come on, I'm drinking, baby.
Do that. Or,
Plus,
exercise.
And that's for pussies. All right.
Yeah.
Key lie.
Yeah.
Another key lie here, number 3. Oh, by the way, also, Kamala Harris is going to be speaking at 11:30 Eastern, so we are going to continue streaming here for all of you before we go to Mug Club, which we usually do after an hour, or less than an hour. It's supposed to be less than an hour, but we always go over time.
We're long-winded.
We are going to live fact check.
My fault.
Kamala. No.
I actually don't care. I'm just saying.
You think that it's an accident?
I know.
My words are my tools, and I choose them very carefully.
Very precise.
That broad, right there. That one.
Is that a black name or like an Indian name or?
Depending on depending on which vote she's trying to.
Kamala.
Jamaican.
Kamala. Oh, Kamala.
Unburdened by the truth. So,
we can't have student driver stickers on Air Force One, guys.
Oh, God.
Well, she's not driving it.
I actually have some interesting numbers as far as Kamala in certain states. Hint, she does worse in blacker areas.
No way.
Yes. Yes way. Yes.
It's like they can tell.
It's
because she ain't black.
Yeah. Well, because they're saying she's going to. Anyway, we'll get to it. It's funny, if slightly racist, but true. Now, here's another key fact that the Democrats, I've told you, they are completely subverting democracy. All right. The Democrat Party's undemocratic. Changed my mind. Maybe we need to do that out in front of the DNC.
Yes.
Any volunteers out there want to help us make that happen?
Let us know.
Because we would need the Mug Club army to ensure that it goes off without a hitch.
Yeah.
Of course, security, because people are crazy. I don't know if you know this. They almost shot the president. So
it's true.
14.46 million Democrats voted for Joe Biden in the primaries.
Closed primaries, by the way. Closed.
Yeah. Yes. Now you have a few thousand delegates who are going to be choosing the Democratic nominee. Not the people. Okay? Not the people. I want to be very clear about that. And even if it is Kamala Harris, keep in mind Kamala Harris dropped out before her state because she was dead last. So she is immensely unpopular. There is no other way. There is no world. It's kind of like a gold digger. There's no world in which that woman gets to live that lifestyle and then claim in court that she is accustomed to that lifestyle. Right? There's no world in which Kamala Harris gets anywhere near this office if it was actually up to the people. So she can perhaps be installed. And of course, they're going to scramble for anyone for the best interest of the country, what they mean is the party, to grab whoever they think can beat Trump. Those are our southern border correspondents.
That's right. Never found them.
I should have noted.
Yeah.
And just to be really clear, before we get into how they're going to cheat, this is why. Please don't take your foot off the gas. Mug Club, you can go to louderwithcredit.com/Mug Club. We are funded by viewers like you, not a foreign caliphate. We don't have any political donors. It's $89 annually. You can go mugless for $9 a month on election night, November 5th, the election live stream of the century. This is going to be the place on earth. Right. This is the election live stream. No more tricks. Okay, we are going to have the electoral integrity map live, where not only can you call states, but you are going to see wherever any shenanigans are taking place. Here's actually, we have this for you. Yeah, live, you'll be able to go check as we call states. And if something happens, for example, I don't know, bringing in red wagons of votes in Detroit at 3 a.m. that go almost entirely for Biden while they board up voting precincts with 2x4s and Bristol board, that will be available to you. If they say that there was a pipe burst, for example, in Atlanta, and you find that will be reported in real time, because we will have boots on the ground. We will have our own news wire so that we can actually call states and expect us to make some calls that maybe aren't the same as the main networks, because we will be better, we will be right, and we will not leave this studio until the election is over.
Sorry, what?
It takes a lot. Well, I won't. It takes a lot if I have to go to my webcam.
I can't.
A lot of resources to make this happen, because we don't ever want to be in the dark again. No more tricks this election. They are going to turn it up. We need your support. We really do. And you don't hear me say that often. We need your support to make this election one that changes the game going forward. They're not afraid of people actually being able to call them on their lies in real time. This is the place where we will be able to do that. We're not just going to be talking heads here, doing a live stream. Hey, what do you think? We're going to actually be making the calls and investigating the bullshit. louderwithcredit.com/Mug Club.
Yeah. So look at what the media will do now. Look at the pivot that they are going to make. You think that, I mean, we had a lot of victories. We had Donald Trump surviving an assassination attempt, doing it in a way that was one of the most amazing moments in American history, standing up, putting his fist in the air, destroying Joe Biden in the debate, getting court cases thrown out, getting a Supreme Court victory. He had a monumental week at the RNC. It was everything looking like there's no way to stop this guy. And the media could no longer keep the lie going. Right. They were starting to unravel. People that hated Donald Trump were actually having to say, this looks like it's going to be like this. Now, even last night during the coverage, they're starting to pivot and go, hey, we don't have to lie about Joe Biden anymore. Now we can go and act like everything is fine again and support Kamala Harris.
Yep.
And that is what they're going to do for this election. They've got a new horse to ride through. I know that's a bad analogy, but they've got a new horse.
It's a perfect analogy.
It really is.
It looks saddled up right there, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, no, I'm serious, but they do. And they will absolutely pull out all the stops now. They couldn't with Joe Biden. They can with a new candidate.
Well, with Barack Obama, remember, socialism actually meant the N-word. Mm-hmm. We just saw Clyburn say that he was called the N-word walking up the Capitol steps when he was protested by the Tea Party. Never happened. Andrew Breitbart right there offered $100,000 to the United Negroes College Fund if anyone could show proof. It never actually happened. Everything was a secret racist dog whistle. I had conservatives turn on me when we turned that Barack Obama hope poster into one that said bitch with Hillary Clinton, red and blue, bitch. This is sexist. Okay, fine. And the point was, there now everyone who was a racist overnight is going to be sexist. Now, everyone's going to be both racist and sexist. And you will be racist against black Americans or South Asian Americans, depending on what is most convenient for them at the time.
Stop Asian hate.
Yes.
That's what I say.
That's what I say, too. And that's why she punches herself in the face, because Asians are...
No, that's why she doesn't mention she's Asian very much.
Yeah, she doesn't mention it very much.
She's strictly...
And if she tries to campaign... Well, we'll get to that in a second. Let's go through the top 5 times that Democrats have cheated. And they have a history of cheating. This is how they do it, okay? And the references are available at louderwithcrowder.com. This is not the first time. So here's the first example. Al Gore and Florida, the recount. Now, to people who don't know, because back then it was in vogue to hate George W. Bush, and I don't think he was the best president by any means, but I'm certainly glad that he was president compared to Al Gore when 9/11 happened. You can comment below if you disagree with it. I think he made a lot of mistakes. Certainly don't like his post-presidency, and he seems like a swamp creature. But at that moment in time, I said, I'm glad there's a Texan and not a guy who's in a back room with a Swedish masseuse.
Yeah, he would have blamed it on global warming.
Yes, he would have.
Buildings melted.
So what happened is they were using some exit polls, these networks, and they declared Gore the winner of Florida in 2000 while votes were still coming in, okay? So you may have heard this, and Kevin Costner did a film about it, Recount. What you have heard, and then I will tell you what you haven't heard, the cheat. The Gore campaign pushed for recount. So saying we want a recount, but the thing they don't tell you is, really, I don't want a statewide recount. I want a recount in just these 4 Democrat counties. I want to recount here and here, but I don't want to recount this here or there, really the rest of the, and maybe we could get half a county. If we could do 4.5 counties, that would ensure a free and fair. Let's just recount this. I've given you a picture. It kind of looks like my face.
And that is why I propose this evening a way to settle this matter with finality and justice in a period of days, not weeks. First, we should complete hand counts already begun in Palm Beach County, Dade County, and Broward County to determine the true intentions of the voters.
Okay. So, that seems a little odd, just those counties. Instead, the Supreme Court ruled that a proper constitutional recount is what would be required, and that it couldn't be done in a manner that was timely enough. He wouldn't have won a statewide recount anyway, just to be clear. So if you believe that Al Gore was going to win Florida, it's not true. It's not true. We've actually had Ted Cruz on, who was involved with those legal proceedings. So that was a cheat right there, where this is back when Democrats were allowed to question elections. Also 2016, where Elizabeth Warren, Klobuchar, and Jimmy Carter had the Election Integrity Advisory Board, I believe it was, because they were saying that the election was stolen by Russia. So they tried to cheat there. Only count 4 counties and hold up the results of the American people. Here's another example of how they cheat. And I'm just picking national figures because there are plenty of local elections. Hillary Clinton, don't throw up in your mouth. A lot of you don't realize that before Hillary Clinton ran for president, her only qualification, effectively, was being the one person not having sex with Bill Clinton. She was married to him, but not having sex with him. And so that was her primary qualification. Until they said, well, hold on a second, we know your political ambitions, right? You've basically been together since college because of your political ambitions. So we need to get you a Senate seat. All right, I know what you're going to say. Okay, well, that seems pretty tough if she was in D.C. We go back to September 1999. 1 year before the New York Senate election, the Clintons purchased a $1.7 million home in Chappaqua, New York. 1 year before. They said, let's just get a timeshare there, and you can represent the good people of New York.
And 2 months after her opponent died.
Well,
voluntarily,
under completely natural circumstances. Yes.
A natural plane crash. He died.
Which
self-immolated.
Yeah, brake pads don't even exist on planes. I don't know how they go out. But the point is,
it happens.
Hey, it happens. So here is actually, in case people have forgotten, some pretty funny reporting from AP on the Clinton New York home purchase back then.
What do you think that the family will do for business around Chappaqua?
I think it'll be positive. I mean, in general, I think there's a kind of a mystique to having the president live in your town, and I think it'll be generally very positive. It'll wear off after a while, but it's interesting for now.
Now,
he blew him 10 minutes later.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Is that a violation of the rules? Not exactly, because you only technically have to be a resident of New York at the time of the election. But do you actually believe that is the true intent of this constitutional republic? This is not a democracy. It is a representative republic. You elect your representatives, and your representatives are meant to, it's in the word, represent you. Someone who has never lived in your state got a timeshare there, really, so she could check a box when she runs for president, which she also has not earned. This is how you know it's the party of the elite. They don't say, hey, I'm the people's choice. They say, it's my turn. That's really what it is. It's my turn. For all of his faults, nobody can argue that Donald Trump was a coronation from the established RNC.
No.
They didn't want him. You made him the nominee, and you made him president. And right now, if the election were held today, you would make him the president again. Hillary Clinton was nobody's choice. She was installed. She was coronated. It was her turn. Same thing with Joe Biden. They ended up voting for him in the primaries because you know what happened is the media kept pushing for him. There was really, it's Joe Biden. You have the superdelegates. Like, well, we saw what happened with Bernie Sanders last time, so
might as well.
It's a lost cause. It is not about. I can't think of a party that represents their own constituents less.
No.
Which brings us to the third example. Bernie Sanders, 2016, the primary campaign. Now, Bernie Sanders hosted this very show, an entire show. You can go back and search it. And back during that election, I focused a lot on Bernie Sanders because I said Hillary Clinton is the coronation. Bernie Sanders is the movement candidate.
Yeah.
And it concerned me to see someone who was a self-avowed socialist gain that much traction. But the truth is, he was very popular with the people, and Hillary Clinton was not. The DNC rigged. Let's just be clear, rigged the 2016 primary for Hillary Clinton. Okay, let me give you some numbers here. That primary, Clinton won 591 superdelegates. Sanders got 48. Jeez. Now, just in case you don't know, Democrats, they are the only party with superdelegates. And I could get really complicated, but it basically means that your vote doesn't matter. Okay? Superdelegates don't have to endorse who their voters choose. They change the rules every now and then to try and save face. But superdelegates basically means like, yeah, sure, your vote, that's cool. We pick her. Let me give you some examples here. Early on in the primary, Iowa, okay? Clinton won by 0.25 points. She got 23 delegates, okay? There in Iowa. Hillary Clinton, though, got 6 superdelegates. So she got 23, Sanders got 21. She received 6 superdelegates. Sanders got 0. 0.
Yeah. And just remember, superdelegates, these are party bosses. These are
party
governors.
bosses.
These are people that are high up. This is the establishment of the Democratic Party saying we're going to do what we want to do.
They can choose who they want.
Yep.
And then New Hampshire, which these primaries were held very, very close together. Sanders won by 22 points. So 0.25 versus 22 points. He got 15 delegates in New Hampshire. Clinton got 9. Clinton got 6 superdelegates. Sanders didn't. So just to be clear, it didn't matter what happened with Bernie Sanders.
No.
Hillary Clinton got the superdelegates. You can win by such a wide, it was completely
22 points.
Insignificant because Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee. I don't like Bernie Sanders. I don't like socialism. I think that he honeymooned in the USSR is weird and communist. But that's just me. But in their rules, they screwed the guy. And then they changed the rules again, the Democrats, in 2018. And according to the emails released from WikiLeaks, the DNC leaders mocked Sanders behind the scenes. So here's actually the DNC communications official, Mark Paustenbach, writing, wondering if there's a good Bernie narrative for a story, in which is that Bernie never had his act together, that his campaign was a mess. In 2017, I don't know if you remember Donna Brazile, who also helped hand questions, I believe, to Hillary Clinton. I can't remember if it was Hillary Clinton or if it was Barack Obama. She was one of the moderators or interviewers at, I don't remember if it was a debate or a town hall. Someone can fact check that for me. But Donna Brazile was there at CNN, and she handed the questions over to help a Democrat candidate. Of course, she was a DNC chairwoman. She said, all right, the primary was rigged against Bernie Sanders. But she wasn't the only one. Elizabeth Warren was asked about this same thing.
Do you agree with the notion that it was rigged?
Yes.
Oh.
A politician gave a very straightforward answer.
Yes.
She was annoyed that he asked the question as if you didn't know.
She's like, well, yeah. Duh. Wait, are we live?
Duh.
They did it and they didn't care.
Yeah.
They did not care what the people said. You cannot win a state by 22 points. 22 points is a blowout. Donald Trump barely won some of those states by 22 points, and he was going up against a lady who wrapped her arms around China.
Yes.
Okay, and he was the presumptive nominee. I'm just saying, that's incredible for them to do it in the full view of the public and say, it doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah.
We're going to put the person in that we want, period. Same thing's happening right now.
Also, Kamala likes to do it in full view of public because people like to watch.
Oh, voyeurism.
Yep.
Oh, there she is, voyeurism. Heels in hand.
Unburned by protection. Now,
that's a cold take.
Another example, I guess we're on the fourth one, the Hunter Biden laptop. This is another example of how the left has cheated the American people. They cheat by doing away with rules, by not following the rules, by subverting democracy, or simply by using their power to lie to you until the democratic process is complete. October 14th, 2020. New York Post reported Hunter Biden's laptop. If you don't remember, this included all kinds of incriminating information, not only on Hunter and him smoking crack and comparing his penis to M&Ms, which is weird.
Mini M&Ms.
But also some business dealings with the big guy and his dad and political corruption and, money exchanging hands for favors with foreign entities. We'll never know because our intelligence agencies, the ones in charge of investigating it, said, nah, there's nothing here. So in case you've forgotten, Rudy Giuliani showed the laptop right here on this show for the first time live. Have you seen the pictures?
Report this guy.
Have you seen the pictures of him with the crack pipe?
You're darn right I have.
Oh, wow. Does he at least look like cool?
Unfortunately, I can't show them to you right now, but this is the hard drive they're on right there.
Gosh. Oh, my word. But I had just a small monitor. I remember thinking, that's not... At this point,
what's happening?
It was this mythical, that's the actual laptop. Now, 5 days later, 51 former intelligence officials signed a statement saying that the laptop was Russian disinformation. So let me ask you this. Are they idiots or are they lying? Now, I would argue, considering that Rudy Giuliani on that same show said they can come and take the laptop. There's so many pictures of penises, but they can take the laptop. He was like, it's available to them. They raided his office and took everything but the laptop while they told you, the public, that it was Russian disinformation. They at the very least could have verified. Completely buried on social media. This to me is a huge cheat.
Yeah,
because
it's not even just the 51 people that signed that. It's that, this came out in the Twitter files that they did.
Yep.
Basically saying that the United States government was reaching out. The White House was reaching out to tech companies saying, hey, be prepared. There's Russian disinformation coming. Be on guard. Be vigilant for us. Make sure that you do this. And basically,
no, it wasn't the White House. It was the intelligence committees.
No, all of them. They had emails from the White House. They had emails from the intelligence communities. They had the entire administration, almost from top to bottom, was basically reaching out saying, hey, be prepared for this. Knowing that the Hunter Biden laptop was the thing. They had it.
Yeah.
They knew about it at the time.
Yeah.
So that when it happened, they could say, see, that's what we told you was going to happen. Now, remember, that's disinformation. It'd be a shame if you lost Section 230. I mean, I'm kind of inferring the last part, but you don't have to make the threat.
Right.
You're the government.
Right. Yeah, the government and the three-letter agencies said, social media, you need to bury this. And then that's why they released this official report from intelligence officials or former intelligence officials, so they have a little bit more distance saying, this is clearly Russian disinformation. Right? Outlets out there didn't report on it at all, like NPR. I wonder why, government-funded. And of course, when I say government-funded, I mean Democrat-funded. Let's be very clear. Here's why that matters. That affects the democratic process because 17% of Biden voters themselves would have changed their votes if they had known about the laptop. We've already done the math. That makes it a landslide walk-off for Donald Trump in all of those swing states. Now, in January 2024, well, the DOJ confirmed it's true.
Yeah, better late than never.
Sorry, laptop's true. It's real. Do you mean that you finally did this? Oh!
Boom, boom.
Oh, wow. That is his penis.
Yeah, they knew.
Oh, this is his laptop. Do you actually believe that they didn't know until this year? They weren't able to confirm it? They did that in order to prevent you from voting on the relevant information. Because at that point, they wanted to install Joe Biden.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, Donna Brazile, just to kind of come back to that, 2016, she gave questions to Hillary.
She did, to Hillary.
Yeah,
that's
she
right.
gave it to Hillary Clinton. And by the way, one other point, Hunter Biden actually sued Fox News for releasing those images from his laptop, thus, again, additionally confirming it before the FBI, I think, and just dropped the lawsuit, I think, within the last couple of days.
Right.
So
because it's not hacking, it's no longer your property. If you give it to somebody and don't pick it back up,
it becomes their property.
I don't even think it was password protected.
It was cocaine.
Yes.
You had to do a line to open it.
You had to do a line.
Hello, Hunter. How can I help you?
Your self-respect will self-destruct in 5 seconds. I don't know why they did on Mission Impossible. These things all self-destruct.
I don't know.
Like just tell the guy to break it. All right.
It's easier.
Here's the fifth example. All these references are available. I'm just walking through examples as to how they have cheated so that you know they are going to cheat again. It is their way. I'm not saying that Republicans don't cheat. And I'm not saying that Republicans don't bend rules. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the Democratic Party is based on cheating. It's based on not respecting rules. It is based on party, absolutely first, the will of the people. I don't even want to say second. Irrelevant. And I mean that, irrelevant. You want to drive an SUV? No. You want to ensure that your vote counts? No. You want your borders to be protected? No. You want to run a business? No. You want to go out and buy something from your local shop during COVID? No. You want Donald Trump to be president? No. You want Bernie Sanders to? No. You don't get to choose anything in the party. Ever.
Except abortion.
That's true. Then it's your choice.
You can't choose life, though.
Yeah.
You have to choose abortion.
And that's completely congruent because they love controlling other people's decisions. And in that case, you're controlling another life because you don't have 20 fingers, 20 toes, 2 hearts, and 2 brains. So here's the 5th example. Actually changing voting laws illegally. Did this in Pennsylvania, 2019. Pennsylvania passed Act 77 to allow mass mail-in voting, expanding a bunch of voting parameters. And the Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf said, you may now vote by mail-in ballot unless you qualify as an absentee voter, in which case you must vote by absentee ballot. If you want to vote by mail, you must apply for a mail-in ballot. You do not need to provide a reason or excuse if you want to use a mail-in ballot, which of course was not the reason prior to that. You needed to have a reason or you vote in person.
In the Constitution of the state Constitution, it basically laid out the reasons that you could do that. Not wanting to get outside is not one of the reasons.
No.
Not wanting to just, stay home. Also, ballot harvesting and lying, that's also not a reason. That's not a good reason.
No.
And the vast majority of people in Pennsylvania that did this, I think it was like 2.6 million people did it. Only 600,000, I'm just a little bit off, but there's only 600,000 Republicans that voted by mail. Mm-hmm. This was primarily the Democrats' plan to get more people to vote so that they could take care of the election.
And when people say, hey, well, there's no such thing as people voting without ID. Really? Then why is it a ballot initiative next election? I believe in Nevada, several states, to require ID to vote.
What about people who voted against it just recently, basically requiring somebody to be proved, not just say, check a box, prove that they're a U.S.
Well, it's racist. It's racist to require identification. So a Pennsylvania court, they even ruled that act violated the state constitution. Period. Just bring up the overlay. I don't even necessarily need to read a quote. You guys can go and see that this was ruled a violation of the state constitution. But then it went to a Supreme Court who overturned the lower court saying that it didn't need to be amended. So, yeah, we can probably have universal mail-in voting. And, of course, that's still in dispute. We really should expect nothing less from the party that insists these are women. Yeah.
You got to wear longer dresses, guys.
You don't even get to choose.
Well, they're bottomless.
The gender you're attracted to. They just change the gender.
That's disgusting.
And then steal your luggage.
Do they get fired day one from Trump? Does Trump go after and say, look, if you're confused about what you are, you can't. You're bye.
I don't know.
I think Trump can fire an admiral necessarily, but the luggage, the luggage.
Look, listen.
Luggage lurch should be gone
I'm a
already.
benevolent man, but I'm going to fire anybody. And you know what? I've thought about this long and hard. They told me you have to fire people who've been convicted of stealing luggage. I said, I won't do that. They said, at least if they've stolen luggage 2 times. I said, no. They said, how about 3 or 4 times? I said, if they've stolen luggage 4 times, then they gotta go. There's no one here who, you.
That person's still in office? I thought that they for sure lost their seat and were put in jail.
That was what is like the assistant something.
They had to go to airport jail for a little while, right?
For like nuclear something. Not an important gig.
No, I know.
Also, the guy getting railed in the Senate chamber is gone too, thankfully.
Yes,
so,
yes. Not Eric Swalwell, who was banging Chinese spies. And your buddy Aaron Sorkin thinks that he should be Secretary of Defense.
Why is he?
He was getting railroaded,
buddy?
if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
my buddy?
Yes,
come on.
Yes, he was.
Just because you.
I've been working on the Swalwell already wrong day.
I thought it was hilarious. By the way, when they announced that Joe Biden, when he did that, like 20 minutes later, the CNN team is scrambling because it's 1 o'clock or no, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time. Nobody good is in studio, and they're like, "Who can we call?" Eric Swalwell picks up the phone.
Yes,
it's his opinion on Trump.
Oh, hello. Sorry,
like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yes. He's just taking off the blindfolds.
And
by the way,
the Deputy Secretary Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Office of Nuclear Energy. He's been out since December of 22. Sam Brinton.
Yes.
Whenever that came out, that,
I know.
Has a bit of an eye for luggage.
I just like to think about Donald Trump firing him.
It'd be better. Bring him back.
If Sam Brinton walked in, he'd just
fire.
be like, "Oh, that's gross.
Ew. It's not Halloween.
It's a cone head." And by the way, some of you have been asking about this shirt. 100% of the proceeds from the Fight Like Hell shirt with Donald Trump, the special edition, go to the Trump campaign. Go to CrowderShop.com. CrowderShop.com, and there you go. That's a way to get a shirt and also support his campaign. Yeah, we're happy to do it.
Promo code RNC20. They get 20%
off. Oh, I didn't realize there was a promo code RNC.
It's on the thing. By the way, it's Trump approved. He
that's
pointed
right.
at it at the
That's
convention.
true.
Pointed at me.
President Trump liked it.
Gave me a thumbs up, smile.
I would have taken that a different way, Gerald. You're a very humble man. I would have taken that as he approved of you.
No, I thought it was the shirt.
You didn't take it personally.
He
You
looked
took
at
it.
me. He looked at me
All
and
right.
frowned, and then I pointed at my shirt, and it
I
changed.
see.
Turned
I see.
upside down.
I
So.
see.
Yeah. He said, "How'd they let a Nazi up front? The optics are... The shirt's good, though.
The shirt's good.
I like the shirt. I hate the Hitler Youth haircut."
Hitler, you more like Hitler aged.
Hey.
Sorry.
Hey.
Sorry.
So what is going to happen? Well, people can speculate. Yeah, obviously Kamala, but Kamala is funnier, is now the favorite. Former Vice President Biden endorsed... I'm going to keep saying Kamala Harris on X, saying, "Today I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this." That's basically saying it's time to come together because you couldn't with me. So now maybe she can beat Trump.
Right.
Even though I beat her. And she's been endorsed by Bill, Hillary Clinton, Gavin Newsom, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Pete Buttigieg.
That's a great
By the way,
gig.
why not in his letter dropping out of the campaign? Why not endorse Kamala there? It's very strange that the thing that is probably going to be picked up by the media the most and spread the widest in everybody's...
Well, not as wide as Kamala, right?
We have to be careful of the verbiage we use now, I guess. Why not endorse her there?
I think because
so much of this behind the scenes. By the way, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Just look at the signature stuff that people are talking about. It's very weird.
It is weird.
It's a little. I'm just saying it's weird. That's it. I'm going to move on from there. You can talk to Alex Jones later, and he'll tell you all about it.
Yes.
But I think it's super strange to me that he didn't, in that letter, immediately pivot, and now we are all supporting Kamala Harris. It seems like
it makes sense to me.
Kind of. No, it doesn't.
Because that letter's going to go down in history.
Exactly.
And if Kamala ends up not being their nominee, then you don't want that mixed up with your legacy and your history of stepping down. I don't think he wrote the letter, Gerald.
See, that's my point.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.
I think this is optics. I think they took a few days to write this.
It's like one of those
I think they realized, don't endorse Kamala. Thank her for being the vice president and for opening up her orifices for
whatever.
The role that I think...
And I think you leave that legacy for him.
Yeah.
Yada, yada.
I think the role he played in typing up that tweet is someone grabbing his head for Face ID. Just
yeah. Well, I mean, Karine already has the access. We already know.
Exactly. So, and look, according to the campaign, here's a reason why it's likely Kamala, because only Kamala can take Biden's, $100 million war chest, right?
Yeah.
They can't just send it to a new candidate. But again, if you think that Democrats follow the rules, also she could be a vice presidential candidate again. Someone could say, she could be VP again. She didn't get a full 8 years as VP, gain some experience. Someone else could be at the top of the ticket, and I believe there would be a way for the money to still follow her.
It's true.
That being said, here's one thing I want to say. I'm really glad to see that Donald Trump was ready for Kamala Harris. It shows that he was calling these balls and strikes early on. I do know some people are saying, don't worry about Kamala. She couldn't even win a primary in her own state. Hold on a second. There are about 10 Democrats in that primary at that point in time. I believe there was Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, Tulsi. So, that's a very different dynamic. Kamala Harris wasn't necessarily a favorite or a darling of the media. She was going up against her party, and the media at that point was still trying to see who they should support. In this scenario, Kamala Harris has the entire support of the Democratic Party, and Donald Trump is not debating Kamala Harris. Donald Trump is debating the entire Democratic Party and, of course, the media, and anything that they can bury, they will. You think Hunter Biden laptop being buried was bad? They will never discuss her history in San Francisco, her history of keeping largely black prisoners beyond their sentences so she could use them effectively as cheap labor. You will not hear about her sleeping her way to the top, which, by the way, is documented. It's not kind of in question. It's documented. The guy who she slept with, Willie Brown, they're like, hey, come on, recently. He was like, I was sleeping with lots of bitches. He pretty much said, he's like, I don't know, sounds like me. And
he was a side piece for Montel, or she was a side piece.
Yes.
I misgendered you.
All of that is going to go away. So the fact that she could not win a primary is not the same as the dynamic between Kamala Harris and President Trump. Just please don't be complacent. Make this gap so wide that they can't overcome it by cheating. Here's what's really inspiring, I would say, or I should say instills confidence. Mm-hmm. President Trump saw this coming a mile away. Again, in contrast to the experts, and he actually, let's run this first, the clip Kamala attack ad. He actually had this ad ready to go immediately upon the announcement.
Kamala was in on it. She covered up Joe's obvious mental decline.
Our president is in good shape, in good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess. Kamala owns this failed record. Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
And just like with Donald Trump, where everything they've tried to use against him somehow gets jujitsu'd back onto them, he's a criminal, and people say, actually, he's kind of a badass. They say, hey, look, he has no political experience. People say, actually, hold on, he's kind of an outsider. They say he's a prick. People go, I actually kind of like that he doesn't speak like a politician. They tried to use this to attack him, where he was saying off the cuff immediately after the debate that he knew Biden was done and that it was going to be Kamala and she was pathetic. They tried to use this against him, but now it helps.
Amazing. Kick that old broken down pile of crap.
Yeah.
It's a bad guy. He just quit, He's quitting the race. Is that right? Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic. It's so amazing. It's just so fucking bad. Can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person? He's a fierce man.
And you know what I love now that Donald Trump has definitely done? At one point in time, when Donald Trump said, she's so bad, she's so fucking bad, you would have had a bunch of evangelical Christians, of which, by the way, I am, going, oh, I can't vote for a man that crude. But now we understand you have a woman who supports abortion up until and including and perhaps after birth period. So you know what? The fact that he used some naughty words, I don't really care. They're trying to destroy the constitutional republic, and you need to keep it. What are they going to do now? How are they going to cheat? Well, same thing that you've seen before, right? They're going to try and change voting laws. Of course, they're going to bury stories. The media is going to run interference. You're going to see interference from big tech. And no small issue here. They've already tipped their hand. The defenses are going right up. Oh, if you have a problem with Kamala, racism, racism, it's both.
Look how it went. Do you want her running the economy? Do you want her running national security? And then other issues about San Francisco and the like. And look, let's just be honest about this. You can be certain that racism and sexism, if not directly from the Trump campaign, from other forces, are going to come flying into this campaign.
Yeah, that's really sad to hear that, but it's obviously true, John.
We're going to hear a lot of really kind of sexist, misogynist, and also just the vague sense of you're just kind of not right for the job. We don't know why. There's just something I don't like about you.
Oh, no, we know why.
That's
which I think
fair,
for some
actually.
women feels very familiar.
Yeah, these are the same people who said Donald Trump is just unlikable. But now if a woman is unlikable, it's sex.
Oh, you're a sexist pig.
Yeah, you're a sexist
You
pig.
hate women, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hate them.
So
just want to have one with you forever.
Yep.
Black people don't like Kamala Harris.
No, I'm going to get to that. Some numbers are actually pretty funny. So first off, Kamala's own team, they're trying to use the race right here already in pushing her nomination. It says, Ms. Harris's team has briefed that they would forcefully object if a white candidate was promoted over her head, ignoring her position as the first ever black woman to be sworn in as vice president. Here's the reason that...
without having first slept with him. Sorry.
Yes, exactly.
There was we truncated the quote.
Yeah, well, that's generally implied with Kamala Harris. Now, to be clear, never called Hillary Clinton a whore. She was kind of a bitch, but never called her a whore. Kamala, because she started her career as a whore, I hope I've clarified my thoughts. Now,
whoredom abounds.
Saying whore. She was a whore.
I was saying
in the beginning was
using
a whore.
sex for.
Now we say gotcha.
Yes, for financial or political gain.
Because the legs were spread.
Yeah, exactly.
And
then got the job.
Right.
Because of the whoredom. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, she doesn't do well with black voters. You may have some black women, but she doesn't do really well with black voters because she's so fake and because of how she treated a lot of black people in California when she worked there as an attorney, because of what she did with marijuana offenders. And it's not lost on me that many of them were multiple time offenders, but there were some nonviolent marijuana offenders. She did keep prisoners in jail for longer than they're sentenced to basically use them as cheap labor. She does come across as somebody who is disingenuous when she said that she listened to Tupac and Biggie back in junior high or high school before they were even around. And people are saying, well, she'll also appeal to one of the biggest voting bases, growing in the country, Indian Americans. Okay, but here's what you don't understand. Indian Americans are often quite racist in comparison to guilty white Democrats, right? They're like, no, maybe, but black. She's black. I don't trust because they're not bad, but they steal.
Well, that's why she identifies as a black woman and not an Indian woman, because she knows if she identified as an Indian woman, they'd be like, no.
If they're trying to sell her as Indian, what's just going to happen is just roll that clip of her dancing with those kids. No, we don't move hips like that. That is not us. That is black. We don't like. Don't hate, but we don't like. Have you been around? Look, anyone out there, if you were raised in traditional Indian families here in the United States, help me out. They're definitely more racist than white Americans. People don't necessarily understand that. Indians are racist against other Indians.
They are.
If you know.
It's a caste system.
And typically, kind of misogynistic.
A little bit.
Sometimes. There can be some great people.
A little bit.
Great people.
Great people compared to Americans.
Sometimes they can be a little walk behind me,
And what's crazy, though, is Kamala Harris actually loses to Trump worse than Biden in Georgia.
Jeez.
So in Georgia, if you look at the RCP average, I believe one of the polls there recently had her losing to Trump by 10 points. And there was another one with Biden where Donald Trump was beating Biden by, I believe it was 8 points. So a wider gap in what is the most black, I believe the highest percentage of black Americans per capita in the union. Think about that. Kamala Harris does worse than Biden in Pennsylvania. Now, of course, we can't rely on these polls because these were conducted before people actually knew that she was the nominee and they will be pushing her hard. But Donald Trump still beats Kamala Harris. The interesting dynamic to me here is the states that you would think, all right, she might win some more votes because there's a significant portion of black voters.
Right, yeah.
She actually loses worse. Yeah. There are other ways, by the way, that Democrats could choose their nominee.
I saw a poll that showed that Rachel Dolezal polled higher.
Yes.
Than Kamala Harris with black voters.
No, that was an OnlyFans.
They're like, hey, she's faking it, but at least she cares. We know she cares.
That was an OnlyFans questionnaire. And by the way, they now have your cookies. So
yeah. They got a lot more than that. They
have all of it. I saw a poll and Kamala was on it.
Wow. That's accurate. That is accurate.
That's a stripper poll.
Yeah. So the ways they could also change this is, they could select their nominee before the convention. They could do a virtual roll call that could be set for early August. If no candidate receives a majority of the delegates, it could go to an open convention. At an open convention, that would mean the delegates would choose in late August, not early August, and the candidate has to get about 300 delegate signatures to be on the ballot. It's a whole thing, and superdelegates can only vote on a second ballot. But the truth is the Democrat system, as we have laid out, is created so that your vote doesn't really matter. They're going to choose who they want. And when they say, hey, for the greater good of the party and country, they don't mean country. They mean the party. Joe Biden was forced out because he was so bad. And this also goes to the issue of, and I know Kamala, I don't care, I know it's Kamala. Kamala is going to be speaking in 10 minutes, so we'll be fact-checking it live. This goes to the issue of accountability. If you vote for a guy, assuming that enough Americans voted for him, if you vote for a guy, and then his policies are so bad that he's going to lose, you don't get to switch out midway through the race. There needs to be accountability for your policies. That's part of our systems of checks and balances, right? You vote. That's why we have terms, because at the end of the term, you have a report card. Why is it that we all go through life? In school with report cards. At work with performance assessments. But for some reason, just with the most important election of our lifetime, hey, the report card is bad, so we're going to wipe it out and bring someone in who has no. This is a referendum on Democrat policies. There's one thing that is constant with the left, and I mean it, that dishonesty happens, sure. Are there some honest people? Yes. Bending the rules happens a lot, sure. Subverting democracy? Yes. It doesn't necessarily happen all the time. The one thing that is a guarantee is the left in this country, and I don't just mean the DNC. I mean feminism, I mean LGBTQAIP, I mean the ruling science, the expert science class during COVID, and yes, the DNC in a national election. They never take accountability. Ever. Let's just walk through it really quickly. LGBTQAIP. Oh, turns out puberty blockers are not completely reversible. Turns out the suicide rate doesn't improve. Turns out it's kind of harmful and we shouldn't be allowing children to transition. Doesn't stop those on the radical left from saying, no, we have to do it anyway. All right, let's look at COVID. Oh, turns out lockdowns don't work. Turns out that masks don't work the way that we thought it did. And turns out the mRNA injection isn't actually the best thing for particularly men under the age of 30 as it relates to complications like myocarditis. Oh, nope, we're not going to take accountability for that. Turns out that ivermectin is actually something that has been used. It's not just horse dewormer, but has been effective. And now they're actually using it and saying, hey, it turns out it's kind of, no, we don't need to hold no accountability for that. Businesses are shut down forever. Well, that was just what happened during the virus. There's nothing we can do about that. Turns out that green policy actually does raise the price of not only gas, but all goods and services. Mm-hmm. Record inflation. Well, that's just what we had to do at that point in time. Actually, this is better than the economy was before. No, I don't have to take accountability for that. Hey, hold on a second. Your party elected a guy, Joe Biden, who sucks, and the American people aren't going to vote for him again. I know you think that maybe we would just have to kind of take this one on the chin, but we're going to take someone and install them who's received no votes from the American public. They will do whatever it takes to avoid accountability. And they'll tell you that that's what Donald Trump is doing.
Yeah. Well, and this is also the party, like, just understand the timeline here. This is the party that knew about this problem and decided that there was not going to be a primary. There were people like Joe Manchin, there were people like RFK who were trying to break in and to have a primary. They were trying to have some kind of system going, hey guys, listen, the house is on fire. We can't put this guy up again. And the media lied. And the administration lied, and everybody around Joe Biden lied and acted as recently as just a couple of months ago, and even just yesterday, saying that Joe Biden was fine, that he's sharp, that he's mentally fit. I love that Joe Scarborough's on the record back in March. I love that he's on the record saying this is the most fit and sharp he has ever seen him in his entire life. That guy is an absolute clown. But don't just say, okay, well, a candidate can back out of a race whenever they want. I think that's true. That's not what's happening here. No. This was absolutely sealed, locked down for Joe Biden. They never, ever had any intention, in my opinion, of him being the candidate ever. They knew the cognitive decline was so bad. I don't think they knew that he would perform as badly in that first debate. Why would they move that debate up so far, though? Why would they pull it so far up to give themselves just a little bit more time to make the case, Joe, you got to step aside. You got to step aside. It's in the best interest of the party. Look what you did during the debate. There's so many of these things that I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but at this point, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit here. They never wanted this guy to be the candidate. They've been lying to the public ever since. That's why it's theft. That is why it's a coup. They never intended for him to be the president, ever.
Yep. I think you're right. And I think Donald Trump would be well served if he's going to be debating Kamala Harris. Make sure it happens out in the open. If at any point she says, well, I'm not used to this as a woman of color, he should say, what was that? Are you saying that how dare you? You're saying that I'm criticizing the 11.5 million people crossing the border. You think Americans have a problem with that because you're a woman of color? Yeah. Is that, you want to call all those people racist? That's what he should do.
Yeah.
I'm criticizing you. I know plenty of women of color. They're good. You're not. That's what he should just make it something happen, and then it's removed because she'll be afraid to use it again.
Yeah.
If she's embarrassed for using it, she will be afraid to use it again. Speaking of completely avoiding accountability, right now we have the Secret Service testifying on the Trump assassination attempt. And think about this for a second. They blamed the local PD. The local PD said it wasn't our responsibility. They said that it was textbook perfect. And then they finally had the excuse that, well, we can't be expected to secure a roof 130-something yards away if it's slightly sloped. Hey, how about some accountability? Someone just needs to say, I suck at my job.
Yeah, by the way, I wrote this quote down because I looked down and I saw this was probably 10, 15 minutes ago. Rangefinders are not prohibited at rallies. Now, look, I understand that there are a lot of items. I just went through security, right? I just went through all of this.
Bring your rangefinder with you, did you?
Exactly. I understand it's inconvenient sometimes. You're like, you can't have this, you can't have that. And it's like, oh, what do you have there? Well, a rangefinder. It seems perfectly normal. What's that? It's a wind gauge. What's that? I know it looks like a rifle. It's not a rifle. It might be a rifle, but it's not a rifle. Like,
that's my guitar.
Point, like, what in the world are you talking about? I understand that we have freedoms in this country, but making sure that you don't have a rangefinder at a rally is probably a good idea, or at least that puts you on the, hey, I'm going to know where you are from now on until this rally is over list.
Yeah.
If you have a rangefinder.
Right.
What is this guy going out to shoot quail, or is he going to play 9 holes? There's nothing going on here good.
Well, I know, and please, you guys can hit the like button if you want us to stay with Kamala's speech here and live fact check it. Do we have a reel here? I'm going to use the restroom really quickly before Kamala because she tends to be long-winded. Do we have a reel for the election night, election live stream of the century?
I don't have that in. I could look for it.
I'll say, okay, if they grab it. Otherwise, you want to go live to this?
Yeah. Let's see what they're saying.
Because I don't know if I'm still a human being and I have to
go pee. Go pee.
tinkle because I want to be ready for Kamala.
Go tinkle.
Come on.
You can pee. There is a mouth.
What?
Kind of hole. There's a bladder.
Come on now.
Don't fill up. Don't fill her up. Come on. All right.
It's made in China.
You know what KY jelly stands for? Kamala, yes.
Oh. Hey, bring up Mr. Kahana here. Let's see what he has. I know I pronounced
that he wasn't seriously hurt and that he survived, and my thoughts with him and his family during such a traumatic event. I also want to express condolences to Corey Comprator's family and recognize his heroism in saving his daughter's lives and to the victims of that awful event. Now, Director,
ask tough questions.
Cato, would you agree that this is the most serious security lapse since President Reagan was shot in 1981 of the Secret Service?
This is a show. Yes, she already said this.
And, do you know what Stuart Knight did when he was in charge at the time of the Secret Service? Do you know what he did afterwards?
Step down?
He remained on duty.
He resigned. And Stuart Knight was not a Democratic appointee or Republican appointee. Look, I'm not questioning your judgment. I just don't think this is partisan. If you have an assassination attempt on a president, a former president, or a candidate, you need to resign. That's what Stuart Knight did. He was a Republican appointee, and he took responsibility. And I think you need to reflect. This is not a question of you. It's a question of the American people. You cannot go leading a Secret Service agency.
Nobody has any confidence in her anymore.
There is an assassination attempt on a presidential candidate. I would say that about anyone who
I don't know, Josh, do you agree if there's an attempt at all?
So I guess my question to you is,
or is it just if you had
he didn't
gross negligence?
He specified though. He said he first asked her, "Do you believe that this is the biggest I get the words wrong, but the biggest lapse in security
okay, so you're saying he's building off of that.
Yeah, he's building off the fact that this is a lapse in security, that it's a failure. Okay, right. It's a big failure. Not because there was an attempt, because there can be an attempt where there wasn't necessarily a huge failure in security.
Right.
It's a hard, we're talking semantics, and that's hard to, imagine.
I don't imagine, like, why would this person not just step down immediately? There is no safe quarter. I was hoping that Democrats would ask tough questions like this.
There's fear. There's got to be some kind of fear of her stepping down, that something will come out, that she'll be charged, that she won't be able to protect herself.
There's some kind of
I think there's some kind of fear. It's definitely not pride. And if it's pride, then good Lord, I thought that was a man's thing.
Yeah, I know.
But
Let's go to Blitzer. What he looks like he's teeing something up.
The current Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, likely to be the Democratic presidential nominee, is going to be speaking at an event at the White House.
Kamala, the current Vice President, soon to be president,
athletes from
this
the
week
2023-2024 season. Kayla Tausche is our White House correspondent. You're there on the South Lawn of the White House. Kayla, tell us what to expect.
Wolf, this is the first official event for the vice president since President Biden withdrew from the race and formally endorsed her for the top.
I'll tell you what they don't
ticket.
expect.
Several prominent Democrats
Biden to make an appearance.
in the wake of that, endorsing her as well. But the party and others
Why does it look like a funeral?
Like House Speaker Emerita Nancy
And so
Pelosi.
for those of you who missed it, who will be tuning in here, we went through the top lies top cheats from the Democrats. You had Al Gore in Florida. You had what happened in Pennsylvania, of course, changing the electoral laws. You had the Hunter Biden laptop story, and you had the rigging of the primaries against Bernie Sanders, super delegates. You had Hillary Clinton getting a glorified timeshare for a couple of months before she got a Senate seat because they wanted to coronate her as a presidential candidate. This is not the first time they've pulled this crap. They don't care about you in order to preserve the party. They have to usurp the will of you, the American people. That's what it is.
By the way, I just need to fact check. Good job, research. Ro Khanna just said that Knight resigned, the head of the Secret Service, after the Reagan assassination attempt. It was 8 months later.
Ooh, that's quite a bit of time.
That's not exactly something you can link together. 8 months later.
Wait, were you talking about that when I was gone?
Yeah, he basically was questioning Cheadle, saying, hey, and Democrats were pressing Cheadle as well, which is good. But it's basically saying that, what happened? And she answered and he answered at the same time. She goes, he stayed on, and Ro Khanna goes, he resigned. It's like, actually, she was right. You just made her look more competent than she's looked in months.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, and research added that he didn't even indicate that he resigned because of Reagan.
Right.
Okay.
So
I don't know. I'm coming in halfway.
Even when trying to do the right things, Democrats always mess it up. They just always mess it up. Come on, Ro Khanna.
It was Ro Khanna?
Ro Khanna.
Ro Khanna! All right.
Got a cool name.
Yeah, he's got a cool name.
He's a douchebag, but
It's funny when I think about this. Remember when Donald Trump was, I remember he was right there on that balcony and they were saying he looks like he's breathing very heavily with COVID. And then they had the conspiracy. No one beats COVID that quickly because he tested positive, I believe. And then 2 days later, he was on that balcony. It's like, you mean he's winded going upstairs with COVID? For crying out loud, Biden has COVID right now. He's in a hospital and someone's over his face with a pillow like one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Third time, by the way, since he's been elected. Third time he's had COVID.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to all the vaccinations
and boosters.
I've had COVID a couple of times. Or maybe 3 times. And the one time I tested positive, I had no symptoms.
I think that they're doing with COVID what I used to do with my last job.
Blame it.
Not show up?
I'm not hungover. I have COVID. Yeah. I can't make it in today or the rest of the week, actually. I'm not in Phoenix. No.
That's oddly specific, Josh.
Yes.
Sorry, Adam.
So is this let me just ask research right now. Did they say that she was addressing Olympic athletes that are about to leave or that have left? Or is that what she was talking about?
So they're going wait, Kamala's going to address Olympic athletes?
This was a planned speech. I don't believe that this is specifically in response to being...
Well, she's going to have... Hopefully she adapted it. The most awkward thing would be if she just came out and discussed the Olympics.
Oh, NCAA Sports Day at the White House. Okay.
Okay.
Did you see her
If she just comes out and talks about the NCAA and doesn't mention at all that she's been endorsed for president of the United States by primary members of her party, that would be hilarious.
Yes, that's what she's definitely got to do that. By the way, did you think it was funny at all or fitting at all that Joe Biden announced he wasn't going to run for re-election on National Ice Cream Day?
Was it?
Oh, man, that's great. Why has no one been talking about this?
He's got stuff to do, my friend.
It was National Ice Cream Day, and he's like, that's it. That's the final straw.
Hey, by the way, and let me know if we have let me know if we have that for the election live stream of the century, because we may want to run that so for people who don't know what we're planning to do for the election. Is Cold Stone Creamery still a thing?
Yes, it is.
But it's in like the touristy, crappy areas.
They're not as good anymore because there's like other places that do that.
But do it with good ice cream?
Yeah, like Marble Slab does it.
Is it
I've
good?
never been. I've never been, but it sounds better.
I tell you what, my preference is the ice cream of the future.
Marble Slab.
Dippin' Dots.
Dippin' Dots.
Oh, dude, I used to work at Dippin' Dots.
I know, you told us.
Yeah, fired after one day. But it was a glorious day.
Was it one day?
Yeah, one day. They said, the lady goes, you got to just, you have to try all the flavors so that you know what to recommend to the customers and what you like and what you don't like and give like hints. And then I ate every flavor that day.
Okay.
I tried every flavor, and then she got mad and fired.
She said you ate too much ice cream?
Yeah, she said I ate too much.
Did you try the flavors, or did you take a full serving of each flavor?
I mean, that's none of your business.
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize. That's a little personal.
That's between me and the dots, my friend.
It's between you and the Kamala doll once we all get out of here.
Jeez. By the way,
we have active cameras in this studio even when we're not filming. So anyone who thinks of any funny business with this doll, we are keeping it here throughout the election, and I want it in mint condition, or slightly used.
And you'll tweet that video, and
slightly.
You'll put that. You make that public.
Yeah, well, slightly used. Mint means like you haven't even broken the book binding.
Right.
I mean, we had to, the legs had to be opened. We had to do it for accuracy.
They open themselves, really.
They really do.
Yeah.
You say open set, and she's like, "Semi."
It's like the tents in Congo. You just open a Kamala doll and it's boing.
Tim, cut away. I'm not going to do the splits again, Tim.
Sorry.
I did a perfect split, and you cut.
Ready?
I pulled my groin, you son of a bitch.
Don't worry, we're always recording. We can get that footage.
That's true. Yeah. We do. We have all the ISOs filming. So no one with the doll. Okay?
Again.
What if it's like, it's
heavy petting is fine. I expect heavy petting. I know the office in which I work.
None of this is fine.
What if I come in, I take a video of the doll, like an 8-minute video, like a 4-minute video of the doll.
Yeah.
And then I take it away.
Take the video away or the doll?
Just the video. I take a video and then I go
with a smile on its
and
face,
then do what I want to do with that video.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
That's fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Excellent.
You can borrow the doll for like a little bit of time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just. I didn't want to ask for it. I was hoping you'd offer it, and I'd be like, "Well, if you're offering."
Look, I get it. It's a power move.
It's a rental, actually, so we got to return it in good shape.
Well, so's Kamala.
Dang, you beat me to it.
She's absolutely.
They got to return her back to the penal system.
Yes,
slightly used.
They call her her Bush women's warehouse.
I don't know why I thought it was so funny.
All right. So for people, and again, we're going to go to Kamala here in just a minute. But for people who don't know, loudearthcredit.com/mugclub. It's $89 for the year. You get this show, you get Nick DiPaolo, you get Guns and Gear, you get Alex Jones on Friday. We're working. We have a lot going on here before election. You get the Mug Club undercover. None of it happens without you. And election night, November 5th, 2024. This is where you go. We are not just going to be talking about the election. We are going to be calling the election, and we are going to have people on the ground in every major city, in every major swing state in the country. We have invested in infrastructure so that there are no more tricks. Nothing happens in darkness this election. It's a very large undertaking, and God knows how long we will be here. Last time we were here for, I think it was 9 hours, then we came back for another 4 or 5. I don't care if we all have to take a nap and someone is just doing a little Senior Wences hand puppet. We're going to be continuing the stream until the election is called. You have my word on that, and I know, Toolman, that doesn't mean that you have to be there the whole time. You can literally just put a camera on me.
No, I will. I'm going to piss in a bucket in the studio.
No, you're not going to pee. You know what they do? You know what they do at Baja races? They have a condom.
Catheter
that goes out their leg. I know because we have a friend, the 6'8" giant, and that's what they do. It's like a glove with a tube.
It's like a 1,000-mile race, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Baja 1,000,
something like that. I don't know. I just thought the condom with the tube was cool.
Just give a catheter.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about the racing. I really don't.
Well, the first person to finish wins.
Well, that's a big deal. I thought that was the case with marathons. Apparently, it's not.
Is it not?
No, it's not about the destination, Josh. It's about the journey. Do we have to let people know? So this is actually what you can expect as we go into this election season. It's something we are gearing up for, and we're very appreciative to those who have helped make it happen. And yeah, we need a few more of you, so you can buy mug clubs as gifts, and we are going to see you November 5th. Nonstop.
Remember,
no more tricks. This is the most important election in our lifetime. We had the election stream in 2016, 2020, the midterms. We were removed from YouTube, and it's fun. We get to share that with you. This is a little bit different.
This is big stuff. Oh, for the love of
God. Oh, geez. And when you hear that voice, you know who it is. It's the funniest man alive. You're going to be...
you don't have smell-o-vision?
A busy night. Exactly. We get to watch these debates, and we get to live fact-check them. And it's something that we really love to do. But every now and then, you have to make corrections based on the world that you live in, especially as this has expanded, where Mug Club Undercover, right? We have a network now. Between now and November 2024, things are going to be changing here. Let me put it this way. There were some things that had taken place in the last election that we were not able to fact-check effectively in real time. And that's what's going to be changing. We're going to have boots on the ground. We are building an infrastructure here to have people on the ground.
We're here at the RNC 2024 sitting down with America's mayor.
Joining me now is Chairman Jim Jordan. Chairman, thank you for being here.
still on our way to that shining city on a hill.
To elect Donald Trump President of the United States.
Because the media tried to silence it, they have to silence you. They will be following your lead because you don't need them. And this is, without a doubt, the most important election of our lifetime. Election live stream of the century, the Rumble on Rumble. If you're watching on Rumble, click that button to join Mug Club. And of course, you get 100% more of this show, a Friday show every week. None of it happens without you. Let's go to CNN. Gerald is dropping the kids off at the pool.
Oh. It actually didn't then, but now it actually works to their advantage. You can almost see the bumper
Halle Berry and the Flintstones gained weight
for the prosecutor, not the felon. So I think she's
going to walk down
going
like it's homecoming.
Absolutely prosecute the case. She's done it effectively, very well in states and among key constituencies. That broad coalition.
Joe Biden saying that was supposed to be my song
to win in 2020. She's doing that now.
You know she's
all right. Mission Control. You guys ready to live fact check? Also, the delegates of Maryland just pledged allegiance to Kamala, right, Noodles?
That's correct, yes. They apparently sent all 81 delegates to back Harris. We'll see if that changes. I don't know. It says it's locked in.
And by the way, chat, show Noodles some love. He really puts in the hours here.
No, don't.
No, okay. No. Screw Noodles.
Forget it. Just kidding. We love you. Most of the time.
Well, that's a strong word.
A lot of scare, I should say.
He said he doesn't want ABC to do the next debate.
Gerald, you missed
He
his
wants
birthday.
Fox News to do the
I did?
next
Yeah.
debate.
Yeah.
Where was I?
When I heard that.
So did I. But I made it up to you, Noodles.
You did?
I did make it up to you.
Appreciate that.
Gerald did not.
We're looking at these live pictures coming in from the South Lawn.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, yeah.
Live on air.
Oh, you're a saint.
Yeah, you didn't.
Filling in for the president today.
Unprompted, even.
These athletes
Who's that
from the,
right there? Is that a jockey? What kind of a helmet? Is that a? It looks like a jockey helmet. Is that his hair?
Where?
The guy up front. Oh, that's just his hair. That's a thick head of hair. Good for that guy. He'll never go bald.
That might not be hair.
All right. If you are tuning in right now, let everyone know. Mug Club Army, put this out on social because we are going to be live fact checking Kamala's speech. It would be so perfect if she just talks about sports.
She probably will.
She somehow will talk about sports, but at the same time, not say a thing about sports.
Basketball.
She played basketball with Michael Jordan.
It's a team.
It's a sport.
We have to come together.
People
as
put a ball
country, as a team
in a hoop, unburdened by the traveling.
Oh, stop it.
That has been.
Did you see her meet the?
Oh, here she is. Here she is.
That's not.
Oh, she's standing right next to the glass.
That's not.
Prompter. It looks like she's missing her shoulder.
That's a bald person.
All right, while we're waiting to hear from the Vice President, I want to bring the presidential
They just cut her off.
Care what this broad ass.
Like apparently she's being introduced by Storm.
Yeah. Where are the rest of the X-Men?
She looks so.
Someone
happy.
do a side by side of her and Storm. Thank you.
Pretty close.
What was that, John?
She looks so happy.
Yes.
Kamala Harris. She's happier than the day when she called him up and said, "We did it, Joe."
Yeah.
She's like, what's her name? You like me. You really,
Sally
really.
Field.
Sally Field, yeah.
She's sitting there going, if I had to put one more blow dryer in a tub.
Being a star at University of California Law School. So her whole trajectory is part of kind of the American dream. It's strange, but when you think about it, if I ask who's vice president of the 19th century at every given time, well,
Girl kind of looks like a Blake Lively in the yellow dress.
Kamala Harris really does need to be introduced.
I didn't know she was a fan of Dennis Rodman.
The conservative movement, MAGA, has tried to identify her with the border.
Just so happy.
Hillary
Whoa, 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 whoa. Did that guy just say we tried to identify her with the border? No, we didn't. She's the border czar.
She is the border czar. She is the border czar. Like, vice presidents, honestly, their role is largely ceremonial. It's symbolic. Right. They're kind of given one pet project, and hers was the border.
I'm like 99% sure, right? She is the border czar, right?
Yeah, it's like,
I didn't just dream
it's
that.
like you can't really blame the vice president. They don't really have any power aside from their one project. Oh, she did the border? All right, it's going to be a massacre.
That was her. Did she build a
Figuratively,
wall?
Figuratively. And by the way, we have the top 5 lies they've told about Donald Trump tomorrow where they've tried to misinterpret what he said, including it's going to be a bloodbath, including very fine people on both sides, including fight like hell, because the one thing that I will say, this entire team here, that we do better than anybody, and it's not just me, is we've been in this long enough, we know the playbook. There are people out there who can do better clickbait, who can do better watch and reacts. There are people out there who can do better TikTok. I understand that. But as far as letting you know where the puck is going, I'm really proud of the work that we do here, and you can just look at the record. This was called. It wasn't just called by Gerald. It's called by Nick DiPaolo. It was called by guests on this show. And everyone was accused of being. I was the one who said, I don't know. I said it was about 60% that I thought it was Biden. I wasn't super confident.
You see how she claps, by the way? It's like she learned how to be a black person from watching The Nutty Professor.
Yes.
Hercules.
That's how she claps. There she goes. There she goes.
There we go.
Yeah, everything about her is weird and manufactured.
It is. And angry. Making me angry. I mean,
seeing people, that's her ethos, but then also how does that
her ethos is seeing people.
Her ethos
is also required to walk around.
See you.
Unzipping your pants.
Here she goes.
All right. Here she goes. Let's hear what she says. And let's be ready to fact check.
Let's listen in.
I want to thank you for all you do to support these extraordinary student athletes. And it is good to be here with so many leaders, including, of course, members of Congress, members of our administration, and our extraordinary athletes. Our president, Joe Biden, wanted to be here today. He is feeling much better and recovering fast.
Now
and
that
he
he's
looks forward
dropped out.
to getting back
Believe
on
me.
the road.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say a few words about our president.
Getting back on the road for what?
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched.
Just say replenishing jobs from COVID.
In one term, he has already, yes, you may clap.
Going to lie about that.
One person.
She's going to say that somewhere here in the last couple of weeks we had the lowest border crossings because
In
they.
one term,
You may clap.
He has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who have served 2 terms in office. And I first came to know President Biden through his son, Beau.
Who I also
We
slept
worked
with.
together as attorneys general in our states. And back then, Beau would often tell me stories about his dad. He would talk about the kind of father and the kind of man that Joe Biden is.
No one believes that.
The qualities that Beau revered in his father are the same qualities that I have seen every
2022
day
inflation hit a
in our
40-year
president.
high. Just
His
as a reminder.
honesty, his integrity, his commitment to his faith and his family.
His plagiarism, which forced him to drop out in 1988.
His integrity, where he lied to the American public about his cognitive decline.
First-hand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people.
Can't say
and
fight.
We are deeply, deeply grateful for his
Deeply?
service to
That's
our
the Asian
nation.
coming out.
Does she have a Star Trek pin on?
No, it's a flag.
I know, I'm kidding. It just looks weird.
This is a weird angle.
So with that, on behalf of our President and Dr. Biden, I am honored to welcome all of you to the White House to celebrate the achievements of these great athletes. Every one of them is a national champion.
Show the dude who beat the women.
In America,
Another X-Men.
tens of millions of people play a sport
Here
as
she
a
is,
child.
not saying
And
anything.
the best of the best grow up to become national champions.
Thanks for defining
Here
national
today,
champion.
we have
was not
7
clear.
undefeated teams, 11 repeat champions, and 20 first-time winners.
Do you think she's going to say anything?
I don't know.
No, she never says anything,
I mean,
Steven.
do you think she's going to address just not sports, but do you think she's going to address that the president, she just called him that, dropped out, and that she has been endorsed? Do you think she's, comment below, do you think she's going to? I don't know. She may be dumb enough to not.
As members of Team USA, you are ambassadors for our nation, and with pride, we will cheer you on. And we look forward to congratulating you when you bring home the gold.
The gold.
Why is that funny?
Hey, guys, this
So
is why
to all
people
of
don't
our
like her.
athletes, I know it was not easy to make it to this moment.
They didn't have to sleep their way to the
Each
top,
of
you're right.
you has faced
that.
challenges and obstacles.
And governors.
You have endured. You have fought back and fought through. By doing so, you demonstrated that true greatness requires more than skill. It requires
She
grit
got
and
skills.
determination. You all know what it means to commit and to persevere. And you know what it means to count on teammates. During the course of a long season, sports teams become a family. You
Yeah,
rely
just
on
like
each
the
other.
Democratic Party
You
that
develop
forced out the guy who was
relationships that will last a
elected,
lifetime.
allegedly.
And you make the people around you better in every way.
She's standing in
And
front of a
when
bunch
you
of
play,
athletes
you
that play soul
inspire
sports,
people
soul player
across
sports.
our nation. You remind all of us what can be achieved with hard work and ambition. And of course, none of you made it here alone. Today, you are surrounded by the people who stood by you every step of this journey. The folks who support you on and off the field, your friends, your family members, your coaches, your trainers, and teachers who for years have cheered you
slept
on.
with. What?
So today, again, let us give them a round of applause.
It's like a comedian starting the set with, let's give it up for the troops.
Yeah, exactly.
And in conclusion, I say to
Cheap
our
pop.
athletes, congratulations again on all you have accomplished.
It's 4 times.
And good luck on all that is to come. Wherever you all go from here, you will always, and know this, you will always be champions, and we will always be so proud of you. And so now it is my honor to welcome to the stage Jordan Dudley, who plays on the Florida State University women's soccer team and our U20 women's national team. Please welcome Jordan.
Of course you knew it. By the way, you knew it was going to be a woman, right? You knew it was going to be a female athlete.
I knew it was not going to be a white one, too.
It was not going to be a white dude.
Heard, from
hey, didn't we trade her for the Merchant of Death? No.
I just want to point out that
wait.
the Vice President will be heading to Wilmington, Delaware later this afternoon to meet with campaign staff there on this, the first
to officially kill Joe Biden.
Yes. Of her presidential campaign.
No takesies backsies.
And according to updated guidance that we're just getting in from her office and a social media post on X, formerly known as Twitter right now. Kayla Tausche is our White House correspondent. Kayla, give us a sense of what's going on right now, what we should anticipate in the coming hours and the next few days.
Well, Vice President Harris has made it clear that she is going to seize the reins of this moment and of this campaign, traveling to Wilmington, as you just mentioned, later this afternoon to try to rally the troops for the 105 days to go, this home stretch of the campaign, where in the last 4 weeks, Harris and her party have become something of underdogs, to use a sports metaphor, as the Vice President addresses this audience of athletes. She used these remarks to praise the leadership of President Biden and the accomplishments that he has notched in the last 3 years.
Yeah, they have her on a very short, I'd say leash, but sex choker.
At this event today, but using some broad language, talking about going for the gold, being a winner, and being supported by a team. It's hard not to sense the metaphors and some of the parallels.
Here's what you do have to ask when you see that. You go, okay, that's not normal. Obviously, she would want to seize this opportunity. Look. You have to ask yourself, who's running the country? Who has been running the country? It's certainly, I know some people try to say Kamala. It's not Kamala. It's the DNC platform, likely Jill, perhaps some combination of Jill, Barack Obama, people who have influence, people who've not been elected. And those people have the same stranglehold on Kamala. That's why I think she's most likely to be the nominee, because she's been, bought, she's been paid for. Kamala. We know that was the one kind of saving grace for Biden. The Democratic Party said, well, he'll do whatever we ask him to do. That's why, I do think that Biden probably at one point was more moderate, just because I don't think that Biden has any principles whatsoever. And then he governed as a radical leftist. The platform wants someone like Kamala to be there because they can she'll be installed. And right now they say she's kind of an underdog. She's kind of an underdog in this last home stretch. No. She's not kind of an underdog. She's been foisted upon the American public through no fault of their own. You know what no one has ever said? Oh, we need Kamala. No one. No one wanted Kamala in the primaries.
No.
No one wants her now. They are going to try and force her upon you.
Never even seen her husband around her.
Well, no, I don't. I can't imagine that guy wants to be. He's like.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody wants her.
He's like the political version of Stedman.
This is weird. I'm sorry. I'm left kind of speechless that she didn't do anything to kind of put her like.
Well, that's what you can expect on a Kamala Harris presidency.
No, I know. I mean, and look,
she didn't do anything like the border.
Yeah. No, I think she
did. I think she did when she said, thank the president for all he's done. Yeah. That was her going like, and also I'm part of it. It's also me. I helped with this stuff.
I get it, and I understand it's an
Without
event
saying
for
it.
athletes and champions. I mean, it was 2 minutes of a speech, but look, you got to understand that this is all it's politics, right? And so she didn't say, I don't believe she said, now we have to go and unite and beat Donald Trump. She didn't say anything, even if she didn't kick off her own campaign necessarily right there. She didn't say anything that means that she was kind of leaning into the fight. Donald Trump, within, I think it was 30 minutes or an hour, released a video, an ad about her. He was ready to go.
Well, she has things to do. She has some rice and pudding. She has to get to Delaware promptly.
Plus, it is about the athletes.
It is, but she took the first part to thank Joe Biden for his record and everything else.
She didn't have to do that.
She did make it about something other than the athletes, and she didn't even throw a line in there. Like,
she hasn't been told how to campaign yet. That's the issue. She doesn't know what she's been thrust into this. This is not just her choice, right? Kamala, you don't become a nominee through no actual electoral process or receive the endorsement she has through your own choice alone. So now she needs to wait for those people to tell her this is how you're going to campaign, because we know the American people don't want you. They don't want Biden. We're going to make sure that their vote doesn't count somehow. And we need to figure out how we frame this so that we can forcefully thrust you onto the American public. This is, let me tell you this. Let me just change a couple of things. Okay. That bullet is 1 inch to the right, to the left. I'm trying to think. Yeah, 1 inch to the right. Donald Trump is dead. Okay. This week, what we had is we had a man avoid an assassination, right? The people's president, Donald Trump, avoided assassination, and then we had the other candidate drop out. Change one thing. That bullet hits, and he drops out, and it's Kamala. Guarantee you, when people say guarantee you that would be violent civil unrest in the streets if that happened.
Yeah.
Those two things, one of those two things being different, that Donald Trump, thank God, was not killed, has saved us from that. If those two happened in tandem, yeah, you would have violence in the streets. You really would, because it is so clear that there is a subversion of democracy. It is so clear that they are trying to eliminate the voice of not just a small percentage, but at least half of the American voting public by any means necessary. And that's why I tell you, my God, if you think that you're about to take a victory lap, this is going to get ugly. This is going to get dirty. I told you on debate night, and between now and election, just laid out how they've cheated. It's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse. And you have someone here who has a reputation for cheating and for moving up the political ladder by any means necessary, including wading into the pool of STDs with no regard for her own safety or self-respect. That's the person at this point who they have decided is going to be installed into office. That is a scary thought. That is un-American. People say this a lot. People on the left will say, it's un-American. I'm not going to do that anyway. There is nothing democratic. There is nothing American about what is happening right now. And that's the choice. That really is the choice. The choice is the United States of America. And even if you don't like Donald Trump, he's at least gone through. Isn't it kind of ironic at this point that they said he tried to overturn our election? It's that Donald Trump tried to do away with our institutions. And he is the one who has made it through the lasting institutions. He's done it the proper way. And in order to beat the guy who was elected by you through the primary process, in order to beat him, they're doing away with all traditions and norms in order to ensure that your vote doesn't matter. It's a scary thought. It's wrong, and it's un-American. And that's why I think you're seeing some changes. We're going to go to Mug Club right here because you're seeing some changes in people who actually would surprise you, like Mark Zuckerberg. Not just some positive things to say about Donald Trump after the shooting. He is changing quite a bit, and I have a theory as to why. You can click right there right now if you're watching on Rumble. Join. Of course, that's what makes the election November 5th, 2024 happen. And if you're watching on YouTube, I don't know why at this point. Let's go to Mug Club YouTube Piss Off.